Isn't Beyonce from your part of the world?
Yes, she's from Houston.
Yeah, I was getting that kind of undercurrent in your tone, and I was like, I can feel
Oh, but I'm
some.
not from Texas. I'm not from Texas. I just live
Where are
here.
you from?
I'm from Delaware.
Apparently, Delaware is the best place to set up a business if you're setting up a business in the States because of some tax thing. I don't know how I know that, but I know that.
Yes, you are. I love you for that. Yes, you are. Number one place for business because everyone that's incorporated is incorporated in Delaware. Apple, Microsoft, like everybody's incorporated in Delaware because they got like hella tax savings. Like you don't pay taxes basically.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that.
I have no idea how I know that. Wow. But I kind of, yeah, it's nice, right? When you kind of someone says, "Oh no, I'm actually from," and then like you know something about that place. But yeah, anyway, sorry. She's probably thinking, "Oh my God, she's crazy." Brilliant. Right, let's go. Welcome to Tailoring Talk. I'm Roberto Revilla, bespoke tailor and owner of Roberto Revilla London Suit Shirt and Shoemakers. I weave superpowers into every stitch. Join us as we meet self-starters and creators, diving into their journeys and uncovering valuable lessons to help you be the best you can be. Hit subscribe, leave me a rating, and let's tailor greatness together. Today's guest is the founder of Edgy Opulence lifestyle branding, following a career in project management spanning 20 years. Working with the likes of Apple and Barclays, she combines project management expertise with a keen sense of style. She's also the founder of the Lipstick Killers collection with a passion for making style accessible to everyone. Here to talk fashion, creation, and accessible lifestyle branding. Tailoring Talkers, please welcome Bond, Dr. Syreeta Bond, to the show. Dr. Bond, how are you? Sorry, I always wanted to do that.
Wonderful. I do that when someone they be like Bond. I'm like, no, it's Bond, like 007. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, it's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So you're calling all the way from Texas.
Hmm.
I'm trying to
Yes.
think, like 150 something episodes in, are you our first Texan? No, but you're not from Texas originally. You're
No.
from you're from Delaware, as we established at the tail end of our prequel, which I'll probably include in the final edit. There is so much that I want to get into with you that we're probably not even going to have time for today. So I'm just going to say it right out the bat. We might have to do this all over again. You are, for all, and I mean this in the nicest way, you're kind of a bad bitch.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's such a compliment.
My
Yeah,
listeners are now confused.
yes, that is okay. If you even look on my Instagram, it says the bad bitch of PM. Like, I don't, yeah, I take bad bitchness and bad bitchery energy with everything that I do because, yeah, that's just how I am. That's how I get down.
Yeah. Where did that phrase come from, or that title kind of come from?
Well, you know what, then it's going, I might as well just start talking about my book because yeah, because I was thinking like bitch to me, like I know it could be a bad word to some, but it's like a normal like noun for me. Like I say if bitch is a noun, it could be anything. But I don't look at it as a negative way. And when I was writing my book, Unleash Your Inner Bad Bitch, I was thinking about what exactly does it mean to be a bad bitch? You get different connotations about it. You know, people like, oh, you know, it's someone that does their own thing. It's a woman in power, or it's like an evil woman, or you know, you don't take no shit, anything like that. But really, I kind of broke it down to be like an acronym. So it's being brave, ambitious, determined, bold, intelligent, talented, creative, and heroic because I encompass all those things in my life and in everything that I do, every business that I run, everything that I work on. And I was like, yeah, that is what a bad bitch is. Someone that's like doing everything they can to make their lives better, to make their family lives better. And then also with the style with it, because I have my own style. I always wearing big earrings, hoops, bright colors, even though I'm wearing black today. It's that's not the point, but still, just all of it is like bad bitchery. And that's how it kind of like came to be.
Yeah. Because the reason I was kind of hesitating at the start is because I generally don't know where to start with you. And it's not like I'm not prepared, because you should see the notes and I have been stalking you like crazy. But, you have done so much for someone who is so, so young. This project management thing that you do as your day job, what did you do? Start when you were like 5 years old or something?
No, oh, well, I'm in my 40s. I mean, I don't look it, I know. Good lighting, and I have
Black don't
plenty.
and all of that.
Yeah, black don't crack. But no, I started in my late 20s. It's funny because I started off in banking because I'm from Delaware. So there's nothing but banks there. Like everyone from Delaware has a bank job. It is what it is. So I started in banking, but then eased into fashion, trying to find this like high split skirt. I wanted it so bad to go to this event. And my mom is a seamstress, so she was like, "I'll make it for you, or I'll teach you how to make it." So that's where my fashion kind of like basically developed from making clothes. So I used to make all of my clothes and sell like custom pieces. But then the project management piece came into that when I made that bold move. I moved to Atlanta from Delaware with no job, one paycheck, and just a dream of hustling my clothes to boutiques. And then that's how my project management career started when I moved to Atlanta. I started working for Apple, and I met two people that were project managers, and they were like, "Hey, you know that I'm a project manager and I do exactly what you do, manage projects, do like events and stuff like that." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, and I get paid like 95K a year." I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" Here I am making my little $35,000. I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" So that's how it kind of started. And I really enjoy project management. It's like it's everything. The processes and managing your projects, being organized, planning, that is all me. Like it's natural to me. So that's how it kind of expanded out. And now I incorporate project management in everything.
Yeah. And no wonder because you're obviously good at that, but no wonder you've been able to, because you still do that.
Mhm.
It's your main business, but then you also have your fashion line as well.
Yes.
And somewhere within all of this, you also have managed to find time to write a book, which is coming out in a couple months' time. So it's obvious to me that you obviously bring all of the skills that you have from your main career into every other part of your life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it would sound really stupid for me to actually ask it as a question, but I mean, obviously that is by design, right?
Yeah, yeah. You have to be really strategic in how you get everything done, especially me. I'm a serial multitasker. I can't help it. I always have a lot going on. But I don't like feeling overwhelmed. So that's why like project management helped me like keep organized, keep everything like straight, and then pivoting. That's like scope change in project management. So learning how to pivot, learning how to manage difficult like situations, conflicts, all of that is like life. And I see that. And then, with the hard times I had, like when I first started my fashion business, manufacturing everything on my own, that was brutal. I remember going to work and coming home and basically staying up to 6 a.m., not getting any sleep, trying to make like 20 dresses to ship off to a store in the Virgin Islands. Like it was brutal. So I had to change a lot of the ways I did things. And I was like, wait a minute, I can just make a plan. I can like break this down. I can break it down to deliverables and milestones and tasks. Like it just all kind of like clicked and made sense. So that's how I manage my like maniac life that I have with project
But
management. Essentially.
yeah, but with all that said, it's like people. So again, I'm very visual, as you can imagine, and so all my listeners are rolling their eyes and like, here he goes again. But yeah, I mean, look, tough. You guys are here every single week. Like we've only just met. For me, it's like and a lot of entrepreneurs, self starters, etc., go through this where you imagine you're carrying a serving platter, right? And you kind
Mhm.
of have a few things on it, and that's kind of manageable. But then with everything that you have to do, I mean, you look, personal life stuff for business, and then You know, a lot of business owners, they aren't just doing one job within the business. Usually they're doing most of the jobs in the business, at least for the first few years. And then
Yes.
suddenly this platter that you're carrying gets piled up and piled up and piled up. Then you get customer demands and deadlines and, you know, tax returns and God knows what else. And that all
Mhm.
starts to pile up. And then eventually you're up here to the ceiling with stuff and you're kind of trying to balance everything. Stuff's
Yes.
falling off, right? So you got customers like, hey, I emailed you the other day. You still, oh, yeah, you're on my radar, but, you know, I've had all this other stuff to deal with. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
You have to be able to set boundaries. People listening to
Yes.
you might think, well, she's a professional project manager. She can actually handle everything. But I'm guessing that's
Yeah.
not true. How do you set,
Hell,
do you set boundaries and how do you set them?
yes, I do, which I had to learn because my day job is very demanding, especially when I'm like launching a new product. Oh, it's brutal. But luckily, I have a leadership team that is supportive and they want you to have boundaries, which is not really common in a lot of corporate jobs that you know people are just like, no, you need to be available 80 hours a week. Um, no, it's not like that. So, but I do set boundaries because I have to. So I try my best to not, you know, to absolutely log off at like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Um, but start my day super early too. But I get a lot done during that time. But after that, it's straight like after 6, I'm like already into business mode. I'm already into, okay, how can my fat like what I got to do for my fashion business? Do I need to update my website? Let's get some products in. Things like that. And then working on my book. Thank goodness I had took a break
Brandy,
from
if
work.
you can hear
Really.
me, I've totally
Oh,
lost you.
oh shoot. I'm here.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay.
Right. So I lost you. I'm sorry. We were talking about boundaries. You might have to start again.
Oh, that's cool. I seen a
How do
little
you,
cat.
how do, how do you, how do you, I knew this was going to be fun, but do you just
Yeah.
see my Bengal cat's tail?
No, I seen like an ear and a
Yeah.
whisker.
Yeah. She's a Bengal. Like, okay, you want the embodiment of the title of your book. She's right here. She just turned up. She's your spirit animal. She's a bitch in every single way, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Um, so, Syreeta, Dr. Bond, I'm so sorry. How do you set boundaries? Do you set boundaries? How do you set them? Or because you are so amazing at PM stuff, do you just take everything on and you just manage to manage it?
I would say it's a little bit of both, but I'm starting to set more boundaries. I can be honest, like I used to do it all like nonstop all the time, and then be wondering why I'm mad. Um, so I have to set boundaries, especially with my job because it's so demanding. So I try to log off between 6 and 7, depending on what like psychotic project I'm working on. But definitely log off there and then truly focus on my businesses. But I kind of automated a lot of things with my businesses too, which is like a blessing. But I give myself grace because if I don't post every day, that's fine. Which my PR would kill me for saying that. But you know, like I'm not beating myself up. I can't because I'm just too busy for that. But I definitely set boundaries and I do say no to certain things. I don't have FOMO. I used to be a party animal before I became a mother. And I loved going out, going to happy hours, like meeting up with everybody, doing all the things. But now that I'm a mom, it's like, okay, sitter. Do I have a sitter? Is my mom going to be visiting? Can I like use her when she comes visit, like I am now? So now I can hurry up and go outside since she's here and she can watch her. But it's just, yeah, like, no, you had to set boundaries. You had to balance your things out, but not beat yourself up for it. I think that's the most important piece of it is that you're not failing. You're just because your task list of 20, you only got to like 5. That is so okay. And I set realistic goals too. The timing has to be perfect, in order for, to get things done the right way. I want things done the right way. I don't like rushing like I used to. So if it takes time, it takes a year, it takes 6 months. Some things I can bust out and knock out in like a week or a day. But if it can't be done and I'm like getting obstacles, if I'm like stuff is like, like preventing me from getting it done in the time that I set, then I'll just pivot and choose another time frame.
Yeah.
Those are like my own personal boundaries that I do, but yeah, definitely not like killing myself or going crazy for things that I don't get done. It's okay.
And, we kind of have that added pressure because, both having fashion businesses, what we do is obviously very visual. If people can't see what we do, they're not going to be inspired. And, maybe, we don't get orders and all that kind of stuff. To kind of be good at it, that's probably not the right phrase, but my cat's just giving me really evil looks right now. And I'm just worried about what she's just about to do. Sometimes I feel guilty when I go a few days, or I used to feel guilty when I would go a few days without posting, and then I would be like, "Oh my God, I'm failing." Like there's so
Mm,
much pressure with what we do, and then when you add in podcasting and then just general kind of running your business stuff and needing to market and promote yourself, um the constant pressure to feel like you have to keep up with it can really really kind of stress you out, work you up, like lead to really bad health and so on. It's really interesting that you said there that you don't have FOMO anymore, that you're okay if you go a few days without posting something. Do you
yeah.
think that just comes with age, wisdom, experience, or did you kind of suffer any kind of point of trauma like burnout or anything that kind of helped you to get into that place?
Yeah, yeah, man. It was just life was lifing. Um, I felt so like trapped. I had a few instances where I had this, I call it like an inner itch in my spirit. And I was just like, okay, something needs to change or I'm about to blow the whole world up. So I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate my life. Like when I start thinking like that, then I'm like, hold on. Let me get right back to it. Let me get centered. So I had a few major moments in my life. Like when I left to go to Atlanta with nothing, that was a moment where I couldn't be in Delaware anymore. I just couldn't. It was killing me. It was bothering me so much. And I constantly had this weight and itch, like, and I just couldn't take it. So I was like, let me just do a drastic change. That change, though, it was so hard. There was no strategy involved. I said, I'm moving to Atlanta and that's it. With nothing.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But if you need to do that, do it, but don't do it. I don't recommend it. But you have to make this drastic change. And as women too, we will cut our hair. It's simple for us to just cut our hair and everything's gone, and then we'll automatically get recentered, and we're just ready to take it all back on again. So that's another way, an outlet, which I did. I chopped all that off. But yeah, it's just like it forced me to kind of like step back, and then I finally started therapy because I just did not want to like be at risk of doing anything like stupid. So I started therapy, and of course, being a Black woman, Afro Latina woman, it's therapy is just like a statement, like it's like taboo. Like you don't need therapy. You need to go to church. You need to pray about it. You need this and that. It's like you don't need to go to therapy because they're going to think you're crazy. No, that went out the window. Because for one, it was like a benefit at my job, and two, everybody's like, "Dude, talk to a therapist. That's all you got to do." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I finally started going to therapy, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is such a relief to get this out." And then, they give you tips on how to manage your like hectic life and, and guide you and stuff. Meditation helps me, like all the things. So that really saved me too, especially when I was living in Dubai. I needed meditation to
Mm,
get through that was just a completely different world. Like I didn't realize how free I was in America until I went there. And I was
mm,
like, oh,
I
I can't
bet.
do it. Okay, great. So, yeah, so it's just like you have to find those like outlets and release. You have to release what's bothering you. You have to get that stuff off your shoulders, and or you will get burnt out. You will become overwhelmed. And you may do something drastic, or you may just like completely fall off and just like lay in the bed for like a whole month straight, and no one knows what's going on. It's just like, no, if you, as soon as you start feeling some heaviness and itch inside of you, do something about it so you can keep moving forward.
The moving from Delaware, that was the beginning of that, right? Because you obviously, whatever was going on over there, it just built up inside you until you were like a shaken Coke bottle ready to explode all over the place. And then, yeah, you just kind of made that drastic change. You're like, right, I'm going, no plan, but I've just got to get out of this.
Yes.
And then, you use the word outlet, and I was thinking exactly the same thing because when we think of all those moments where, we start to feel burnt out, frustrated, we can't cope with what's going on around us, or we're reacting in a way that isn't the person that we want to be.
Yes.
It's because there's no release. There's just everything is like just like a pressure cooker about to blow. And we
Yeah.
don't have that valve just to let the steam out, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Thank
yeah. And I think about people that are going through that today, but I feel like it's different now with social media. There's so many different ways like people are helping each other out. But social media also puts that pressure on you too. Like when you were talking about the pressure and constantly posting and staying up on trends and stuff like that. It is that in itself is stressful. So I changed my social media feed like completely. I have like the people that I follow that I love and everything, but I also like I kind of like reprogrammed the algorithm to just give me straight like motivational stuff. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I slide in, the ads and all that post, and I just be like, oh, but I like trick the algorithm so that way when I'm seeing something that's like motivating because I can't post something motivating every day because every day I'm not feeling motivational. I'm handling my business. I'm
Yeah.
doing this, that. So I changed it that way. So that way it's constant empowerment. So that keeps me sane too. And I know I spoke with someone recently the other day and they were talking about the pressure that their girlfriend is feeling because she's a content creator and she's just like, I need time to make content. I need time. Why are you so pressed? Why it's not happening overnight? Don't believe these videos. Oh, I made $1 million in one night posting a video without my face. Man, they're not telling you the grind that comes along with it, the work. Nothing is easy. You have to
No.
bust your butt every single day. Fashion is brutal. We have to think of designs, be creative. I'm a sustainable fashion designer, so I'm thinking about all the sustainability goals that I have. How can I make my business better? How can I find a more organic product? What, manufacturers making t-shirts that are like hemp based or coconut based or bamboo based. Like it's constant. And I'm just like, no, I'm not rushing. I'm not going crazy. I'm not going to drive myself crazy. Things are going to come when they need to come. I
Yeah.
just need to plan to be really strategic in what I do. There is no like overnight nothing. Nothing. I've been doing this for 20 years. And in 20 years, like each like I was saying 5-year increments, there was like, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Now here's the next level. All right. And I'm still not done. I'm still not finished, and I'm still not where I want to be. But hell, I made a lot of progress along the way. Don't like it takes time. It takes time. I really want the young people to understand that and stop putting that pressure on yourself because social media change your feed, man. Change your
Yeah.
damn feed.
I started doing the same thing. So there will be people listening to this that will now realize what I've been doing. But it's like you look at Instagram, right? Seems to be platform of choice. It's kind of where I've worked out, is probably the best place for me to be along with YouTube. So I'm just focusing on those two. But then, when you look at what else is going on, and you might be having a bad day and then suddenly you're seeing something, or there might be something going in your life that's not great, and then you see someone else posting something. And what's even worse is when you see someone post something about how awesome everything is, but you know it's BS. Like you know for a fact it's BS. And you're just like, why? Right? And so, okay, fine. It's their life. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. I have to take some responsibility for myself. And so what I decided to do most recently is basically when it comes to posting, if I don't feel like posting or I'm not in the right frame of mind to create a piece of content, then I'm not going to do it. Because
Right.
I'd rather, if I'm going to create something, I need to be inspiring or helping somebody, right? Either
Mhm.
inspiring them to show them what can be or teaching them something, a skill that they can then take, like how to fold a pair of pants or whatever. And if I'm just not in the mood for it that day, then I'm not going to do it, right? For the sake of it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's okay. Who cares? Like someone asked me recently and said, your energy is kind of different because you haven't really been posting since the beginning of the year. And I'm like, yeah, because I've had a lot going on in my personal life and I just can't be asked right now. Like I really genuinely, I don't give a, you know what, right? And that's
Exactly.
okay. Like, so what? That's okay.
Yep.
It's nice to know that I'm missed, but I'm
Yes.
not, as soon as I start to feel that pressure cooker that start to rise,
Mhm.
whatever it is that's happening in that moment, I think it's so important to recognize that and acknowledge it and then say, okay, do you know what? I need to stop right now.
Yeah, I know. So, like, it's okay to take a break. It is okay
Yeah.
because you need to be in your right mind. Like, if we're going to be out here influencing and educating and just like being as helpful as it can, I can't be helpful if I'm pissed off because I'm just going to say anything and then I'm like, oh God, let me delete that. Oh, it's
Yeah.
too late. No, no, you do have to be in the right frame of mind. I totally
Yeah.
get that.
Having worked in corporate life, built businesses, continuing to build, um, dealt with your own kind of personal growth journey and so on, you have this monumental thing happening in weeks from now, which is
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to get my hands on a copy, which is your book.
Yes.
What was the process of I'm going to ask, I want to ask you how the hell you've worked out how to fit the time in to do it. But let me ask you this instead. What was the process of writing the book like for you?
Oh, okay. So my first book actually is my doctoral study.
Huh? Sorry, there's another book. Oh my God, yeah, because this is something else I wanted to ask you as well. Because in the
Yeah.
back of my mind, I'm thinking they're probably thinking he started this whole thing off saying Dr. Bond. Like,
Yeah.
where did the Dr. Bond come in? Is that a branding thing? Is she a real doctor? I'm guessing you're a real doctor because you're hyper intelligent. Sorry, do
No.
tell.
Yeah. So my first book is my doctoral study. And I turned it into a book and have it on Amazon and everything, Libris and Barnes and Noble. I'm like, ugh. But it's my doctoral study. And that was 5 years of complete torture. I am so done with school. There's nothing else to do. Period. I might get another project management certification. That's it. I'm not doing nothing else with school. And plus, my student loans are a mortgage. That's another conversation. But so that's my first book, which was horrendous to do. Writing your dissertation, it's insane. But the level of research that you have to do, and just like the writing over and over and the critique it felt I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm going to write a book that's personal and shares my experiences.
Mm.
It's going to be more relatable because my book is on international. Okay, here's the title. My first book, International Project Strategies to Reduce the Negative Impact on Triple Constraints. So,
Hello? Hello? I think I lost you. Sorry, what?
actually,
International? I don't even.
I
Can
got
I,
it right here.
can I buy it?
And I designed it on Canva.
International project strategies to reduce the negative impact of triple constraints.
Yes.
Wow.
I said, okay, so let me write something else.
Yeah, with a snappier title, right?
Which is like the real me. This is the academia me. At least you're in a bad bitch is the real me.
Yay. Woo!
It's the tea. And because like this is how I talk all the time. So, everybody's just like, wait a minute, you're Dr. Bond. I'm like, yeah, I'm not your
Yeah.
usual doctor.
Dr. Bond is like Dr. Bond, come on. It's like it's badass, right?
Thank you. Thank you. I don't
It
have the
is.
doctor. I don't have the bond cars to go with it. Not yet. But,
It'll
but
come.
so this was horrendous. This and then when I had it printed, I was like, oh, it's just this. Like it's like what 180 pages, but it felt like 180 years. But this is the first baby. So then the second baby, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to pour my heart and soul into it. I'm going to talk about the experiences I went through in toxic work environments because it was real. Yeah, it's deep. I swear I should have went to HR with every job I've had, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I talk about that, how I didn't fight back, how I did fight back. But also all involving project management, of course, because that is my life. I'm PMP certified. And just like it goes from like corporate and obstacles, breaking glass ceilings, how you can pave the way, and then the actual self-care that you can do too, mental health, physical health, things like that, because I had challenges in all of that. So, yes, that is my baby. It's like, it really is like me pouring my heart and soul into it. But it was very therapeutic and triggering because I had to really recount the exact way things had went. And when I seen it on paper, it's like, damn, how come I didn't do anything about that?
Yeah.
So I had to explain that in the book too. Like, okay, this is how I felt at that time. Like, it's really personal. It's just, but I know that it's stories that almost everyone that had an issue being the only in your corporate role, if you're the only in your industry, yeah, you're going to be going through some stuff.
Yeah.
And I think everything's going to be relatable. And I just hope that it helps people and let people know that you're not alone at all. We all going through it, and then these are ways that you can overcome it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the new baby. But please
I
support
think,
this
yeah.
if you're in the international project strategies.
It's the triple constraints thing is what intrigues me. That might just be my dirty mind. But I mean, not to take away from the seriousness of what you just shared. Um, people don't often or ever even, I think, realize just how tough it can be, right? Because you
Mhm.
and I will both know, having worked in corporate environments as a minority ethnically, but then you get the double whammy of being a woman as well,
Yeah.
you know? So Michelle Wolf was just over. I don't know if you know Michelle Wolf, the comedian. She's one of your lot. Um, she's the one who is it the White House Correspondents' Dinner that you all have
Oh,
every and she got kicked out by the Republicans or something because she obviously was telling the truth about who.
yeah.
So she was over recently, so we saw her live like literally just last week, a week ago. I was sat like this far from her. I was front row. She's
Yes.
so awesome. And she the lady who was supporting her, Marley, I know it was Michelle actually, who basically was saying that, I mean, she was basically saying, yeah, there's one anecdote she gave was like during World War II, they had women become spies, because no one would believe that women could do that job,
Yeah.
right?
Makes sense.
Right. because, they thought they were stupid,
Mm-hmm.
which we know is totally not the case. And you
Mm.
fast forward to today, and I see it in a lot of work environments that I go to, and it's like they're all saying diversity and inclusivity and all of this, quite frank, bullshit, right? It's all like virtue signaling crap that a lot of these corporations are doing because, okay, I'm going to probably get into trouble if I actually name them, but a very, very big global, probably like FTSE 100, NASDAQ or whatever you guys have over there, Dow Jones, like top whatever,
Yeah.
Fortune 50 company was spouting off recently about how they've managed to bridge the gender divide because they now have like 40% women to 60% guys. Okay, well, you haven't quite got there yet.
Yeah.
But then it came out that the pay gap between male and female executives was still like wildly disproportionate,
I
right?
swear.
And
Yeah.
I'm trying to illustrate a point extremely badly here, but just going back to your personal experiences, I think people don't often consider just how bad it can be because you're not, like you were saying, you were putting things down on paper, like things that happened to you, and I can imagine what some of those things were. Um, and you're looking at it and you're thinking, how did I put up with that? Why didn't I go and talk to someone about this?
Yeah.
Well, there's a damn good reason why you didn't, because of the way that corporate culture makes people who are either minority or female or both feel that you
Mm.
can't because it could be career ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you got to worry about retaliation, even though every company has a retaliation policy, of course. But still, you can't control how people think. You just need to replace all the butt heads and racism, and you just need to replace the people that are in charge. And because they're going to think the way they're going to think anyway, they're going to treat you the way they're going to treat you anyway. I feel like it has changed quite a bit because of all the stuff that America went through, as far, especially like George Floyd and all the protests, and more diversity and inclusion and equity is happening in companies. But it's like, it's weird because that was such a strong message. And everybody was like, you know what? Like the good people came out, the allies came out. But that was then. And some of the people that are way up there are still in charge. So it's like starting to die down and wear off, which is sad. But there's still hope. There's still people fighting. Like, so now it's like to the point now, like all of us that are like still in the trenches, that are haven't made it to that C-suite and executive level yet. We're building our own communities. We're supporting each other. You can't stop that. We don't need your diversity section. We don't need you to hire us. We're going to do our own thing regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're going to build our own communities, and we're going to help each other out because we can't rely on y'all unless you change who's in charge and get the people that don't are not getting with the program and getting to a society where like we all can work together and respect each other. If you're not getting rid of them, all right, then we'll start our own. So it's getting to that point now. There's been such an influx of like businesses, especially with the pandemic and everything that happened. These have been the last like crazy ass like 6 years as a people in this planet, and we all were going through it globally. That's the thing that's really crazy. It wasn't just America, it wasn't just the UK, it was globally. We was all like toe up in these
Yeah.
last like 5 6 years. And it's just the amount of like self-consciousness and growth that people went through in these last, like, now you can't stop it. We don't need you. Yeah, are you gonna let them go? Or can we vote them out? Can we do this? Can we do that? Okay, if not, then we're just gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen regardless. We're gonna support each other regardless, and they can't stop that. But damn, I wish y'all would just like get with the program because it's
Yeah.
frustrating. I can't tell you how to I can't tell you how to be like diversity. Don't ask me about this and that. You're supposed to set these things and make these changes on your own. I'm tired of telling you what to do to help me. No, you get it together. Like for real. Like we're gonna be doing our own thing over here. Like we don't got time for that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you know, anyone who's listening who, because that's the thing as well, right? It's like, do you know, I worked for a big American company for 7 years. And you know, the thing I loved about it is I got to come to the States regularly. And, you know, I just love you guys over there. Although some states are weird. Um,
Yes.
and you know, but I remember like first incident with a prejudice, I guess, was, you know, we were over there for a conference, and then at the kind of bit where everybody kind of sits and there's loads of different tables to have a meal, and I've got my plate and I'm going over and I'm like, I don't want to sit with my lot from Europe. I want to go meet some American people. So I went over to a table and it was people from Kentucky and you know, places like that. And I was like, is this seat taken? Can I sit here? And they just looked at me like, this is not the table for you. I didn't get it. I was like, really? Oh, maybe someone else is going to sit. And then, like, my boss has come over and he's tugging me on the sleeve. He's like, no, you come here, like, back with us. And I was like, but I want to go and meet some American people. And he's like, yeah, you want to go meet some American people? Go sit with Texas, sit with LA, sit with New York or Chicago. Forget everybody else.
Yeah.
Sorry to all my American listeners because there are so many of you. I love you all. Um, but you
No,
all know
because
what I'm talking about.
The South is lit. I learned that. I'm from the Northeast. We moved different. I went to Atlanta and I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah, oh, it's real, honey. That South is no joke. Yeah, hundreds, thousands of years. It's still the South.
Yeah. But anyway, the point I was going to make earlier before my brain skipped and I went off on a tangent was that anyone who's listening who has been kind of affected or is worried about this sort of stuff, hey, guess what? You do not have to be bossed around by anybody. The great thing now with technology and everything else that we have has never been, I mean, you tell me what you think, but I don't think there's ever been a better time for people to get started on their own with whatever it is they want to do.
Yes, that is so true. It's um damn, it's like a renaissance. It's like a
Yeah.
renaissance period now, especially with all the podcasts that's going on. Podcasts been around for quite some time, but like now it's just like I love them. I love them all. I don't know if I don't have the time for it right now. I cannot fit one more thing. Let me release the book first and then I'll think about it. But yeah, it's a great, great time. But the tools you have, like, okay, so let's get into like the AI real quick.
Yes.
So that is such an amazing tool. I do not think Terminators are going to come get us, even though that's like my favorite series of movies.
Mm.
One of my favorite Matrix, all that. I'm all into it. However, AI is cool. But this is what I tell people because I took like a generative AI course, which is more so on the business side, like how you can use it to create tools and make your workflow easier and more efficient.
Yeah.
It's good for that, but it's also good for writing. It's good for music creation. It's everywhere. Like you can use AI for everything, especially animation, just everything. But it is a tool, and if you are going to use it, I feel like the work that you're doing, just let that be your outline, and then you put your soul into it
Yeah.
because some of the responses are very robotic. The human intelligence still needs to be there. So just use it as your starting point, get like some key jewels and then build off of that. But I would like don't recommend just like putting a prompt in AI and then just taking that and running with it. No, honey, read it, look at it, read it, because you will see if you read it, it's giving you a very generic response sometimes, or it's very vague, or it's just very not you. It's not soul. It doesn't have a soul. So, like, if you're going to use it, just like put your heart into it, put your soul into it. Just, like it's quite convenient. It can help you, but at the same time, no, you need to use your intelligence with it.
Yeah.
So artificial.
because
So
and it's another way to differentiate yourself and set yourself apart from everybody else, because the fact is that our bodies are made up of, I don't know what it is it 80% or 90% water, somewhere around there. We're a lot of water, but just like our planet is mostly water. And water likes to take the path of least resistance. I'm banging out all the cliches now, you must be so proud of me. That's what a lot of people do. So they get hold of these AI tools like Gemini and GPT and all of this stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I can get it to write a newsletter post or an article or whatever," and it bangs it out in 2 seconds, and they post it up. Guess what? Most people are doing that now. There's very few people doing exactly what you just said, which is use it as a framework,
yeah.
pour your soul into it.
Yeah.
Because you take the time to do that, it sets you apart. Um, and that's, certainly what I've been trying to do. I'm definitely guilty of doing the first one when I first got my hands on this stuff, because I was just like generating
Yeah, I
stuff
did
and
too.
really, you know what I mean? And then I was reading it back and I was like, nah,
How's
uh,
this?
nah,
And they was like, "Who wrote that?" Because you didn't write it.
yeah,
Like, I need
exactly.
to post up real quick.
I'm in, I'm in a business that's all about expressing yourself and telling the world who you are through the way that you dress and the way that you communicate and so on. And that is not it. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so you are dressed in black today, which I was not expecting, but my camera probably thanks you, because you're usually very bold and I don't want to, brash is not the right word, but it's Friday and my brain's failing. Um, but you're if you walked into a room, people know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How have you cultivated that look? Have you always been that way, or is it something that you kind of developed?
I think I developed it. If you ask my sister, she said I couldn't dress when I was a kid, and I totally disagree.
Yeah.
I love the 80s. So I rolled up I don't know if y'all did this, but did you like take your like stonewash jeans, the old school stonewash jeans? Did you fold the cuff and fold it over and then folded it up? I
I had a different problem. So because we were so damn poor, and I've been like 6 feet tall since I was about 12, so I was a really fast growing child. And so my mum and dad, they couldn't afford to keep buying me new clothes all the time because I just kept growing out of them. And so my dad, so we're I'm going to say this really quietly. We're probably roughly the same kind of age, even though you look like you're 20 something. And so my mum used to fish out my dad's clothes that he wore when he was younger, like from the 70s.
Oh my God.
But I'm a kid of the, 80s, early 90s, right? When it's all like this, straight,
Yes.
not like straight and then bell. And and so the first day that I wore his flares to school, like these old Wranglers or something, and the flares were huge. I Syreeta, I got the shit kicked out of me. Like it
Oh.
was bad enough that I was one of only three children of color in an all-white school in the 80s in a not so great part of London. But then to add that on top of it as well, it was just like put a target on my back. Like my parents did not love me. So I used to get beaten up every single day. And that's kind of how I got into this, because I realized, well, the first thing I realized was I can't go to school wearing flares because I'm just going to
No.
get beaten up all the time. So I got to get rid of the flares. So I got a pair of scissors and then sneaked into where my mom's sewing machine was, and I cut the damn things up and badly stitched them back together. And then I went into school and I still got beaten up because I looked like this. Um, but I didn't get beaten up because of the clothes.
Mm.
And that's where I started to make the connection between what you wear has an effect on how the world sees you and treats you.
Mm. Mm.
What was your question?
I'm
Oh, it
trying
was
not
about cuffing your stonewall.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just trying not to cry.
I'm so sorry. So no,
Because
I didn't get to cuff my stonewashed jeans because we're gonna afford those things.
well, I don't even think they made it back yet. So it's good that they didn't have any. But yeah, I couldn't. I thought I could dress. I was with the time. What is it? LA Gear sneakers, and my mom
Oh
did the
my God.
best. My mom did the best she could because we were broke too. I had went to you have Payless shoes? Payless? No?
Mm, yeah, we probably had our own equivalent.
Yeah, like $5. Bobos, we call them Bobos. So I had them. So I mean, we did the best we could. I try to get, a little bit of tool and add it to my outfits to kind of keep up with Madonna. But yeah, it was rough. And I kind of came into my own style, I would say, when I started working in banking. Because you gotta be dressed up and all that, wearing
Yeah.
pantyhose. It was so brutal. But then I started getting into heels, which is why I don't wear heels now. Because I wore heels from when I was 18 up to like 35. And yeah, my feet I can't do it. Like tops 2.5 inches. I'm done. And that's like brutal to me. There's like 6-inch heels now. I'm like, how do you hoes do it? Anyway, like I can't. Stiletto, you out of your mind? Oh God. Ooh. Anyway, but I do wear heels sometimes. But yeah, I kind of get into it like more on the corporate side, but I always wanted like I don't like wearing like just the normal khaki with the blue blazer and no. No. I'm like, man, I need some swag. I'm sorry. Like I need like some style with it. So then like getting into prints and stuff like that, which is why my business started. Cause I was like, I need some badass like wrap dresses. I can't afford Diane von Fostenberg, but I can make a wrap dress with a badass print. So it's just kind of like progressed to there. But now I'm just like more so I'm so tapped into like my own personal culture, Afro Latina, and I love t-shirts and I love comfort. I love like I'm half Puerto Rican, so everything needs to be skin tight on me. Like my jeans are painted. Like I don't play. Everything needs to be stretched because the rolls are popping. So, but it's like I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable and I'm authentic. Like this is just me. So, like after leaving banking and then actually like working in tech, luckily I was blessed to be with a company that actually like they encourage that. Just long as you just bring your ass to work. We don't care how you look. Don't look like you went to the club, but just come as you are. So I was like, oh, I can be like super comfortable, but I love matching. I love brights. I love prints. And I can wear my big hoops and I can wear a wig one day and be bald headed the next. Like this is life. So I kind of like came into my own the last like 10, 15 years of my own style and putting that into everything. Yeah. Cause it's
Yeah.
like if I'm comfortable and I'm in my authenticity and I'm comfortable, then I do my best work. Cause I'm not worrying about you giving me a crazy look or you asking me some stupid question, even though you still get them. Um, Especially when you wear like a wig. I don't know if you wear wigs, but if you wear no, okay. If you wear a wig and they be like, oh, your hair looks different today. Bitch, it's a wig. Like I
Yeah.
hate to say that. I'm like, yeah, it's a wig. I probably won't wear it tomorrow. Like
Yeah.
not tomorrow. I don't wear a wig when it's 100 degrees outside. Like, relax. So it's just like, but it's like I don't care. Like I'm gonna be me because that if I'm comfortable and I'm confident in what I'm wearing and I love what I wear and I know I'm cute and I know I look good, then I'm gonna bring my best work out. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't judge me. So I'm hoping that the judging is less. And then when I take my daughter to daycare, and her daycare is like across from a high school and a middle school, and I see what the kids are wearing now, and I'm just like, and I'm judging them, and I'm so not supposed to be that way, but I'm looking like, what are these kids
Yeah.
wearing now? I feel like I'm looking at myself in the 90s when I was in high school because they're wearing baggy jeans.
Yeah.
They do grunge, a lot of
Yeah.
grunge.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so and then my brother was like, that's the emo thing, because he's 8 years younger. So he's like, that's that emo look. And I was like, that looked like how we used to wear the baggy and the cross colors and was it FUBU, living
Hmm.
colors. So like, yeah, it was. So I was like, it's not coming back, but the same like style and shape and like the fit looks similar to the 90s. So I'm just like, Okay, so it's, fashion is nuts. I love it.
Someone's kid told me recently that they were into the whole emo look, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. So you like Sesame Street? I did too when I was a kid. I didn't know what emo. I didn't know what emo was.
It's just
But yeah, no,
pressure.
it's
It's
just,
pressure.
but
The
no, you're
pressure.
right. I mean, I look at kids now, and they're all dressing the way that we dressed when we were at sixth form college in the 90s. It's crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really cool. You know, we didn't think it was cool back then because we were in it, right?
Yeah.
But you see, what you said right there was so inspirational in a way. And I think, it's about dressing for yourself and having that confidence with it. And also a sprinkling of that attitude, like, I don't care because people are going to judge because that's just the way that humans are, unfortunately. I mean, you look, a famous example recently is Doja Cat, right?
Yeah.
She went wigless, bald, and she got so much hate, like people saying she looks ugly, and I mean, like if I look up the word ugly in the dictionary, I don't think I'm going to see a picture of Doja Cat anywhere near
No.
there at all, right?
Yeah.
And respect to her for the way that she's come out and basically told haters to F off, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have to do that. You have to be able to put a hand up at people that are bringing negative energy or firing at negative energy off at you and just deflect it right back at them and say, look, I don't have time for this shit, basically.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. So
She's very
kudos
brave.
to you.
She's brave. I love her. I remember she was on some red carpet for some event and she was dressed like a cat,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
full of makeup and everything.
Yeah.
And then when I interviewed her, she just made me out. I was like, girl is nuts. I love her, but I'm like, she don't care. So I'm like, yeah, wear what you want because I've seen her in a gorgeous gown and really beautiful and dressed up. And then, she could be chill, she could be hip hop, she could be whatever. It's just like, no, it's like, I just want to make sure. I'm like, girl, if you okay, are you okay? Because you did shave all your hair off. And I told you before, like when we cut our hair, something going on. So it's just like, all right, are you all right? All right, as long
Yeah,
as you
see,
okay. But no,
I
I think
can't
I
I
look
can't I can't message people using the power of
great.
cutting my hair or anything, unfortunately. So I'm an oversharer because of that.
But you know what? If you grew a beard out, then I would ask, are you okay? Why
Yeah,
you
no, that's
looking
true.
like
I
yeah, but
I can't get past 2 days with this thing because then my wife tells me to shave it off because she says I'm going to get shot by the cops for being a terrorist or something.
oh oh
You know,
Lord.
because our cops here are yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And trust me, you don't want to trust a British cop with a gun, especially when you look like this. Anyway, sorry. Back to so last thing because I've got to let you go at some point. I don't Accessible
Yeah.
want lifestyle branding, your terminology, which I absolutely love, and I've not heard anywhere else because when people say lifestyle branding, it's all about fancy this and that and unattainable this and that, and being uber wealthy, huge designer labels and all of that kind of stuff. I've never ever heard anyone use the word accessible with lifestyle ever. But having got to know you over the last more than an hour now, I can see why that would come from you. But what was the idea about that? And I know that's something that you're very, very passionate about, and that I mean that's basically lipstick killers. That's the whole reason for that being what it is.
Yeah. Because it's like I guess I lived both worlds. Like I grew up for like I'm okay. I'm able to make moves and travel if I want to. But I would not say that I have wealth. Um, but I still love like beautiful things and luxury. And then when I spent 3 years in Dubai, that's like luxuryville, like good grief.
Mm.
Top cars are Bugattis, and you see a Rolls Royce Phantom. Like I never ever will ever buy a Range Rover. I would never buy a Lexus because that's just those are the taxi cabs. Like it's insane, marble and 7 star and gold. and it was cool to be around that, but I don't like how people act.
Yeah.
I can't stand that old privilege, like, oh, you can't talk to me. Or, like, or you just think somebody is beneath you, like all that inferior superiority, like that just grinds my gears. So, and I just feel like you should be able to like have something glamorous and fabulous and not like tear your pockets apart. Um, Even though it's awesome, like I probably will have like a haute couture or a super luxury brand later on down the road, because those things are beautiful and the craftsmanship that goes with it is just mwah. But I feel like you still need to have stuff for a lot of the majority of the people in the world that are struggling. like straight up. You don't need to kill yourself to try to keep up with anybody, but you can still have that same like lifestyle and just be more affordable with it, more sustainable with it. But then also with the accessibility piece of it, like I don't ghost anybody on the DM unless they're like sending like something crazy or I know it's a bot. But other than that, like anyone could just like hit me up on LinkedIn, hit me up on my DM on Instagram and ask me a question and I will answer it. Like, because there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with sharing information. And because a lot of people, when we were both coming up, like a lot of the information wasn't shared. And school doesn't teach you everything. College, university does not teach you. You need to be in the trenches, having tangible things happen to you in order for you to learn business, in order to learn any industry. So why not ask me or ask someone about it and then I can answer your question. So it's all of like that whole lifestyle thing. What goals do you have? Like what do you want to do? How can I help you? I can help you with that, I can tell you what I went through. I can only tell you what from my experience. And maybe it will help you, maybe it will not. But it's all that's all it is. It's like, okay, sharing information, being a resource, but also I'm receiving information and gaining knowledge, and like you might throw me a new idea. We can exchange ideas, we can barter and trade. Like that's just the beauty of having a community and just being like available to people. I feel like you don't need to like shut anything out. Like life is too short and things are too crazy in this world to just like keep all this information inside of you until you die. Like, no, no, share it, like help someone, help each other out, and do it in a fashionable way and make that affordable.
Yeah.
And affordable being like not, let me just rephrase that as far as affordability. I'm not saying fast fashion because I just have at the sustainability piece advocacy of me is kicking in. I can't
Yeah.
stand fast fashion. Have I bought Forever 21 earrings and H&M? Yes. Have I seen something? I was like, oh, shirt, $10. I ain't gonna lie. I do shop. I'm crazy. But the detrimental impact on the environment, oh my God, I'm sorry. They got to go and they got to change their models. Straight up. Stop killing the earth. So, but you can still have something that's affordable and not like a $55,000 clutch. Like that's a different breed of people and they can afford that. Okay. I don't know anyone. Well, I know a few people in my circle that can afford it, but not like the majority of people. No, we're all trying to come up and make it. So if something is like $100 or $200, yes, that's quality there. That's like getting, you're helping the earth. You're having a level of quality that's affordable to you. So, it's just that's like basically the whole thing, like with the whole lifestyle, the branding, the accessibility piece, the sustainability piece. It's like helping the world, helping each other out. I don't really see anything wrong with that. And I just wish more people kind of like took that in their business
Yeah.
models, because we'll just be in a better place.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it's not just a product for you. It's a way of being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and what I'm making a difference. I bought this jacket and it was like 350, but it was made out of like organic materials and like, but the brand is they don't do like crazy labor, just like that it had a purpose with it. Or it was just a badass jacket and you needed it. But like still, like that's okay. That's okay. And I had these huge earrings and they were $30, but I don't care because they're glamorous and they help me feel good. Things like that, like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, making products that are like more affordable, but still like have a level of style that's like unmatched. And yeah, it's just like I just feel like that's everything.
Yeah. Awesome. I couldn't think of a better way to end this, and I really don't want to end it. But Syreeta, thank you so, so much. So the book is coming out in a couple months from now. So we're recording this mid-March. So around about kind of April, May time, we should be able to all get our hands on it.
Yes. Yes. So make sure you go on drsyreetabond.com, sign up for the updates and the mailing list, and help me choose a book cover. I already have one designed, but the publisher wants to design one. It better look like the one I designed. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you just
Yeah,
do this?
that's no problem. You can oh, you want to design the cover? Okay, fine, you design it. As long as it looks like this, we good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna tell them. I'm like, hey, this is what I want. Just this. Send me 3 options that look like this. So yeah, but the people can help me pick one and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. And then if people want to learn more about how project planning can help them, they can visit well, it's probably one of many websites, but edgyopulence.branding.world.
Yes.
And they can also find you on Instagram as well.
Yes. Fashionable PMP. So
Awesome.
Instagram, Twitter, Thread.
Now I know who followed me earlier. Don't worry, I'll hit you back as soon as I get off this. Awesome. Thank you. Syreeta, have you had fun today?
Yes, I did. I loved our conversation. You're awesome. Let's keep in touch. Let's just
Yeah.
send each other weird messages every now and then.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, we should. Do you know, it's really funny. I don't know if you find this with other friends, but Instagram, as much as we kind of, we're like, Instagram can throw some at you. Um, with people I'm close with on there, it's kind of almost like WhatsApp for, I know
Yeah.
you guys don't really use WhatsApp over there, but it is kind of like, oh, really? I heard
Yes.
somewhere that Americans don't like WhatsApp.
We don't like anything.
Yeah, well, this is true. Um, but yeah, no, definitely we'll get the DMs going. Syreeta, thank you so so much. Thank you all for joining Syreeta and I. Follow me on Instagram at Tony and Talk Podcast for latest episode updates, highlights, and news. The podcast is also on YouTube at Roberto Revilla London. And you can email me at tonyandtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Please hit subscribe, give me a rating and review, click the share button in your player to send this episode to someone you know who needs to hear what Syreeta shared with us today. And to support the show, hit the support the show link in the show notes. Have a great week, be kind to each other, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Like I'm at work on my work computer. I put it on mute. So and I got like 15 messages.
All
I
coming
know.
through.
I didn't tell them I'm on the podcast interview. See, this is how I get shit done.